Hello, everybody, and welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. This is going to be a podcast where three passionate sports fans and football fans who live in New England but do not like the New England Patriots sit down, talk football, talk a little shit to each other and to the general football fan base, and really just kind of enjoy each other's time. I'm your humble host. My name's David. Most people know me as DT. I'm going to be trying to corral these other two animals throughout the rest of this experience. One big thing about me is I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan, and living in New England has been brutal these last few years, especially. I ended up being a fan of them because back when Kurt Warner was really prominent and Larry Fitzgerald and all those guys, they were just nice dudes. And I really just enjoyed, they were so easy to root for. And now that I'm a full-blown adult, you really can't trade teams. That's not how it works. And I'll be kind of driving this insane train that will be trying to keep on the rails, and it likely won't go so well. So bear with us, especially as we're first starting out here. But Jay, if you don't mind, let the people know why the hell you're here.
Yeah, that sounded like an NPR introduction. I loved it. And welcome to the Behind Enemy Lines podcast.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so as DT said, living behind enemy lines, I'm a fucking Jets fan, so that's fun.
Woof.
So my dad grew up in northern New Jersey. He had season tickets at Shea Stadium from 1970 to whenever he moved, and so that's my curse to bear, and here I am.
Several decades of bliss since, especially.
Hey, but here's the thing: my grandfather was the biggest, and probably still the biggest Joe Namath fan that ever lived.
Yes, so. And Joe Namath fucks. We don't have to talk about that.
You can't blame the guy circa 1969 going, that's my team.
Yeah, that's my guy. I get it.
We all wish it.
We had that. Yeah, we all wish we were Joe Namath at one point or another. But the decades since...
No one in the history of the NFL had more fun than Joe Willie Namath.
That's a fact. But the decades that I've had to talk you off the ledge since then, I would personally trade it for several things. But
like I said, you can't change teams now, man.
You can't. You're locked in. So thank you for your intro. And Coxie, what do you got for us?
How y'all doing? My name's Ryan Cox. Also Coxie. But I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I was born in Tampa Bay. Moved up to New England, when I was younger, and been having to deal with Patriot fans ever since, and especially for our age, where all they know is winning. It's not great.
And my, how have the turns tabled?
Yeah, it's been great.
We'll get to that later.
What a wonderful turn of events there. I love it.
We'll get into that later, but we want to do a brief intro to let y'all know who these nerds are that are going to be talking at you for anybody who happens to stumble upon this in their terrible fortune.
And also why we root for the most random fucking teams on planet Earth.
Yeah.
We also want to emphasize nerds.
And nerds, yeah. It's a weird juxtaposition to be people who grew up during the peak of this dynasty and just stewing at every turn.
It's been a hard 20 years, man. Hopefully the next 20 years will be better.
That's the fingers crossed that we have, and that's why we've been trying to get this together for several years. So we finally pulled the trigger, and you'll hear more about our laments as we kind of go through. But thank you for tuning in, and welcome to the show. I think we're going to kick things off first with This Week in Football. Obviously, the major news coming out. We'll get to your Thursday night fucking debacle in a little while. But obviously, the biggest news coming out is the COVID outbreaks coming out, both in the Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots. And I believe the Chiefs also had some positive tests. Nobody's been named in the Chiefs, but the statement said that both teams had players that tested positive. Obviously, the Titans game has been rescheduled and everything's kind of been moved already, so there's not much in terms of news to follow up with there. But the big pending story is the Patriots and quarterback Cam Newton obviously testing positive for COVID and what the implications of that may be. I know currently the game is generally suspected to be played on Tuesday, but there's been no new news or reports since, I've checked in the last, 20 or so minutes before we kicked off. So I'd like to hear from you guys if you maybe know any more nuggets of information or kind of what your thoughts on and how this is going to affect both obviously the Patriots, but also, the Titans and all these rest of these teams in the league as scheduling kind of shuffles out. Yazzie, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, so I think we all knew this was coming. So, first of all,
Yeah.
we were kind of living on borrowed time. I think this is the first. Cam Newton's the first high-profile player that's gotten it, though. Am I correct on that?
To my knowledge,
I think so. I think he's the highest profile that's yet got it. Yeah.
It's mostly been backups.
backups.
So this will be interesting when you.
Or like personnel.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see because he needs to quarantine for 2 weeks, correct?
Yes.
So he's out for 2 weeks. Period.
Yeah. And that
I think it might be 10 days.
Is it 10 days?
that might also
It might be because I think they're following CDC, and I think CDC updated theirs to 10 days.
Oh,
So,
gotcha.
but
It was 2
I
weeks.
don't know.
I guess we'll say. But if they're playing on Tuesday, 10 days would be 2 games. So
still,
Yeah.
which creates an interesting controversy in that quarterback room, as we all know. Is Jared
Yeah,
Stidham
no, Hoyer's starting.
Hoyer?
Hoyer's starting. Yeah.
I had no idea. I was
Hoyer the
gonna, I was gonna go into this whole thing about who do we think's gonna start, who do we think the real deal is, but if it's Hoyer the Destroyer, let's see him fucking.
I could be
I
wrong,
mean,
but on the Twitter tweets, it's Hoyer. It's Hoyer's job.
I mean, we can all agree that neither of them is a destroyer or the real deal. We can all
I mean,
agree on
Hoyer's got a bigger sample size, and
that.
he's not.
It's a sample size of not good.
I mean, Stidham threw that one pick six. That was pretty rad.
Loved that. Loved it.
That was big. Obviously,
It was
I think long term Stidham's the best choice there, but I think they're very much, especially in this system, in a win now mindset.
Yeah.
It seems like
I mean,
that
that's-
front office has been refusing to rebuild for the last 2 decades, and it doesn't look like it's starting now. So, if they're in that win now mentality, Hoyer's the guy. At least for them in an individual personnel.
If Newton's out 2 games, they're losing the next 2 games and falling to 2 and 3.
Well, they would
That's-
lose. They would lose this upcoming game whether Newton played or not, in my opinion, because they're
Yeah,
not going to
sure.
beat the Chiefs.
The Chiefs might. Oh, the Kitty City.
The kitty
fucking
fell. It's all good.
But yeah, Newton. Not Newton, but Kansas City might go 16-0. That could happen.
Maybe. I mean, I think.
It's possible.
If
There's
Mahomes,
I mean, when you look at that offense, and it's a symptom of just having so many weapons that
Yeah.
you just can't stop. If you want to stop Kelsey, then okay, well we can hit you with Tyreek or Hardman. You want to try and stop the perimeter, great. We have other options, and the fact that Clyde Edwards-Helaire just fell into their lap.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. If they want to stop the pass, fine, we're gonna run it on you. And their
Yeah.
offensive line actually looks really good so far this
Yeah,
year.
they do.
So
Yeah,
They're a scary
definitely-
team.
I mean, they're 1,000,000% the team to beat, being defending Super Bowl champs and everything like that. So
Yeah.
I think,
yeah,
And just getting better.
yeah,
yeah,
I think
that's the
it's-
thing. It won the Super Bowl and got better, and you don't see that a lot.
I find
No.
it so interesting that this happened to arguably the highest profile game of this weekend, because
That's the one I was looking forward to that one the most. Honestly,
it's because
Yeah,
it's the Super
same.
Bowl champs, the new potential dynasty versus
Yeah.
that is now
old
looking
guard.
like going to be our Cowboys of the 90s.
changing of the guard, if you will. Yeah,
So I think I hope they play Tuesday. Obviously, I hope everybody's safe. I don't want it to be a thing where people are put at risk or what have you. But I think it's optimistic and hopeful, and I want them to play Tuesday. But how does that shuffle the rest of the league? If they just keep finding more and more new positive tests, what do you guys think the league looks like? Do we keep going?
I think we're gonna see regular season games go into January. Personally,
Oh, you think they'll just
Yeah.
keep pushing it?
Eventually, if it gets to a point, they're gonna have to.
Yeah.
They're gonna
I
get to a
think-
point where they
I
don't
think-
really have an option.
yeah, I think the Super Bowl will probably be closer to March because
But
they're gonna have to push these regular season games because it's gonna happen. I mean, look at the the rate of infection just in the regular population. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but I guess I'm surprised to hear you both say that. Neither of you believe that they would cut it off.
No.
You think they're playing the full season regardless? I mean,
Yeah.
money.
It's money, dude.
Oh yeah,
Look at-
they're,
look at college-
they're definitely gonna play it. They're gonna play the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, look at college football. Like they said no, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna lose a lot of money. So they decided, let's at least try to get this going.
Yeah, I think the effort being there is
I
important.
mean, the NFL makes billions of dollars a year. Billions of dollars a year.
With a
They're not
B.
gonna, yeah, they're not just gonna like say, oh well, I guess that's it.
Yeah,
They're
I
gonna
mean,
they're gonna push it and push it and push it until they legitimately can't anymore. Because
Yeah.
the NFL has the longest offseason of any sport in like any major sport, so they can push it back and be fine.
That's that, and then they've watched these other sports like go through this and like kind of taken a little bit. So I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll have like data points and like, okay, well, if we do this, we can we can stop the spread, or if we do this, we can
Yeah.
mitigate, and impart all those on top of being able to stretch out their schedule if they want.
mhm.
So I mean, also taking into consideration like how other sports are probably going to start later.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
they can like the NFL can go later and not really affect like those other sports that are almost like kind of open to doing that.
Yeah.
Like they're open to do that and be okay.
Yeah.
So
Look, if there's football in February, I'm watching. Everybody's watching. You know.
yeah, they can
And they
take
can-
it stretch
they
all
know
the way
that.
out to August. It wouldn't matter.
Exactly. They know that too.
hmm
Yeah,
Well,
they
I
know
think
they rule the roost.
the big cool thing that they do that I love is those little like bracelets that they have in the facilities, so it like tracks everybody where
Yeah.
they get contact from who, and they can trace it all the way back. So they probably have a lot of great data on how this like got into, the Titans and into the Patriots and all these places, so they can find better ways to contain it going forward.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big thing is just being able to contact trace and like who was in the weight room with this person at at this time for how long, and doing all of those kinds of things. But I'm actually I wouldn't be surprised if NFL teams end up requiring their players and personnel to all stay in some form on campus or like at a
Right.
at a team hotel.
Yeah.
Um,
like a bubble.
just
of
in
stuff.
order, just in order to finish up the season, and maybe even they they find a way to do playoffs in like some sort of bubble format.
Yeah.
All these things can the NFL has at their disposal, and seeing how it worked in other sports, they can really
Yeah.
kind of use those as like the testing grounds and figure their stuff out. Like there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to figure out a way to get the season done.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how long. That's really going to be the question.
I thought they should have done a bubble to begin with,
I
personally.
did too, but
I know logistically
that's-
it was a
that's
nightmare
hard,
with the
yeah.
fields. There's so many like
Yeah.
I saw something on Twitter that was interesting. They should have done regional bubbles, in my opinion.
They could have done that, like
Yeah.
NFC, AFC South, like all be in
Yeah.
one spot.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
The AFC East and the
You
NFC
could just-
East all be in one area. I mean, you just
yeah.
need if there's no fans, you just need a field, right? I mean, essentially.
Well, the thing is with the timing of games, they did multiple fields at multiple times. Because what was it?
Exactly.
This last Sunday, 8 games were on at once at the 1 p.m. spot. So like,
You're telling me the NFL that has billions upon
Yeah.
billions of dollars couldn't pay for a field to be built in like a week?
no, I fully believe that.
Yeah, but they're not going to want to.
Yeah. If it gets
I
to
just
that
think
point, I think they would.
That was the best option, in my opinion. I was advocating for that. Obviously, Joe Schmo from Maine doesn't have any fucking say on that, but that's what I
Yeah.
thought was the best option there.
You got to make a petition.
Yeah.
Goodell,
Change.org.
it's your boy from Maine. So here's the thing.
Not super in love with this whole COVID situation. You should fix that.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not good.
Love Jason. Give the
Smiley
Jets
face.
14 wins, please.
Yeah.
But so you guys are both of the ilk that will play out the season. It'll just be extended. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I think that's definitely a possibility. I'm curious to see how like other media gets involved with this. If they start kicking up a fuss that so many of these players are getting sick because they're still forcing games, it might change the issue.
Yeah, but these guys volunteered for this. They don't like.
Yeah.
You could have opted out. They gave you an opt out period.
Yeah.
They did.
I mean, the Jets' best defensive player opted out. So
Right. No, I just mean general like armchair people like us, but like who don't watch football and don't care enough. They're like, this is a public health hazard, especially now that there are the stadiums trickling fans in. If like
Yeah, I
a
don't-
fan gets sick because a player has
The Bucks,
COVID,
the Bucks are doing a soft open this weekend.
yeah,
Are they?
Yeah, soft open against the Chargers.
How many are they allowing in?
I forget the exact number. It might be like 10% or something like that.
oh, so
Gotcha.
all of the Bucks fans.
And then they'll go. Yeah, recently probably.
No, you
and
guys got a
then-
huge bandwagon from Tommy Boy.
Well, yeah. Now I meant like in the last.
Yeah.
years before.
Thomas Brady.
But I think 10% this week, something like that, and then they'll increase it the week after.
Yeah.
It goes on.
Gotcha. I think that, yeah, but I think you make strong points. I think the money's there. They'd be willing to extend it if they need to. Kind of bleed
There's no reason why they can't extend
yeah,
it. I mean,
bleed that
yeah.
dry. A lot of teams are, a lot of players are advocating for multiple bye weeks anyway. So if they keep if games keep popping up on the schedule, like if the Patriots then like week 7, a couple weeks from now have another outbreak, it's another potential bye week. The thing is it is going to be a scheduling nightmare regardless of how it goes. But I think they're more willing to do that than to call it quits.
In all honesty, if I think a possible thing that they could do is use this as an opportunity to test teams having 2 bye weeks,
Yeah.
because I think if you ultimately the NFL wants to increase the size of the regular season by reducing the preseason. So if you have 18 games instead of 16, now if you give them 2 bye weeks, I mean, you're also increasing your revenue stream from watching because your season's now longer,
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to keep better talent on the field by having 2 bye weeks. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if by lengthening up the season they kind of test that, and that way it gives them more variability. Like if this team tests positive for COVID or this team, they can kind of more easily switch things, around.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. It's just, the players have also just been so against playing more games.
Yeah.
And I get
think
that health and
17
safety.
games, 2 bye weeks, I think is gonna be the future in the NFL, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think they're gonna both agree, because like Brian just said, the players really want 2 bye weeks, and the owners really want to add another game.
Yeah. And that way it prevents that even schedule. Like there's going to be no more 8 and 8s. It's going to be definitive. You won't have to go to the tiebreakers as often for seeding and things.
You're a
like
winning
that.
team or you're a losing team. Period. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yep, I like that.
So I think generally it's a positive, but if the global pandemic is the way forward with that, I find that very interesting that this is kind of the time we live in.
Life comes at you fast, man.
Yeah, it really does. But I think that makes a lot of sense, and I guess we'll kind of just see moving forward where that goes. But I think we all made some very valid points here. So that's obviously the major headline this week in football. But also this week in football, there was a Thursday game, and it had 2 titans of the game. Real powerhouses in the Denver Broncos versus the New York Football Jets, which is apparently not a thing, but I've been saying it for years, so I'm trying to make it a thing. I know it's only the Giants who have it, but I think the Jets should do it too because it's hilarious. So
Okay.
I'm going to defer to the Residence Jets fan for analysis really on this game and takes, but the general vibe 37-28 Broncos. Darnold
It was closer than that, though. I mean,
Darnold
honestly.
had some flashy plays. Jamison Crowder played well.
As he does.
So
As he does.
I'll kind of I think it was a weird game if you're on the Yeet Gase train, if you want to get the fuck rid of him. That was a weird one. I'll let you kind of take the lead and figure out what you want us to talk at you about, Jay.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Going to the game, there was rumors flying all over the place that if Gase loses this, he gets fired. Turns out those rumors weren't true. I mean, I'm not really surprised. The Jets ownership from top to it's just so bad. So going into the game, I was like, shit, do I want a loss or I kind of want to win? But as a Jets fan, as I do to myself every year, going in, I was like, fuck, I just want to win, man. That's anything any sports fan wants. I just want to win, Donald played good. I'm not gonna lie. Donald played good, given what he has at receiver. I mean, he's literally on his 6th, 7th, and 8th string receivers at this point.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Jameson Crowder is the only starting receiver that he had on Thursday night. And just Gase, his concepts. There's some shit that doesn't make sense. I saw this one video of, I think it was Orlovsky, was breaking down the Colts game last week. And it was, I think it was the first play that threw a pick six, I believe. He ran trips to the right, and then on the left, he had a receiver running an out route where the safety in the corner can just split that receiver. So basically, you're just taking that receiver out of the equation. And he just has, like, and this happens every week, he has these concepts that just make zero fucking sense. So I think it's honestly hard to genuinely evaluate Darnold at this point. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I honestly think, I mean, given how this year's probably going to go for the Jets, I think you take Trevor if you end up having the first pick, which you probably will. Take Trevor, trade Darnold, get something for Darnold. You can still get something for Darnold now.
Oh yeah, for
he's
sure.
Young, he's young enough and has enough potential. Get something for Darnold now. Get a new coach who wants Trevor Lawrence. Pretty much start over and get what you can for Darnold. Like that's not.
It's like
I don't think that's going to work anymore, and I think it's honestly better for Darnold if he goes and backs up somewhere for a little bit, just to kind of reset, get his legs under him with a new team and system, then try and go again. But I think he needs time. I mean, being with the Jets for as long as I can't imagine that he's in the best mindset right now. I think he needs some time away.
That's a lot of heat coming from a fucking Bucks fan.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No, but I would agree with that. Here's the thing: I'm a Darnold like Stanley. I really like him. He's in every interview he's had since he was fucking drafted. He's like a stand-up guy, a really nice guy, the guy you want to be the face of your organization.
Well, it's one of those things where
if we have the first pick in the draft, we are taking Trevor Lawrence. That's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact. That's happening. If you don't take Trevor Lawrence, then I lose all respect for that GM because he's the best quarterback prospect since Luck.
Yeah. You have.
However, if they do fire Gase and he has this sort of, his magical sloppiness shows up and he steals like 3 or 4 games, then I am more inclined to draft the kid from Oregon, the tackle, pair him with Becton, and then take that Seattle pick we got for Jamal and draft a receiver.
I mean, I can see that working, but I guess it comes down to how shot do you think Darnold's confidence is at this point in time?
I think it's pretty shot, but I also think he's still one of the youngest quarterbacks in the NFL. I think it's fixable at this point.
He is like the youngest. He's younger than Burrow.
Yeah, he is younger than Burrow. Yeah.
But do you think the Jets can coach him?
I think if they make the right coaching hire, I think they can. Yeah.
How much do you trust them to make the right coaching decision?
Well,
that's the $1 million question.
I know that the Gase hire was so bad that people's memories are a little foggy. Todd Bowles was the best candidate that they could have had back in that.
I'm so happy he didn't work out for you because
the
Buccaneers defensive coordinator.
Thank
you.
He's a great DC. He's not a head coach.
Darling.
He was the best candidate then. Rex Ryan was the best candidate before him, and Rex Ryan worked out to an extent. We almost made it to back-to-back Super Bowls, almost. Thinking back, Mangini was pretty damn good. Herm Edwards made it to the playoffs. So like they have this track record of hiring. Okay,
good, not great.
Like here's the thing. Like I think a lot of people have this. Like we're not going to hire the next Andy Reid and Belichick every time. It's just not going to fucking happen. They're not terrible when it comes to hiring head coaches. They made the worst possible decision in 2018 or 2019 when they hired Gase.
No one's asking the Jets organization to find an Andy Reid or a Bill Belichick, but they are asking like maybe find a Sean McDermott. He's worked out great for the Bills.
In my opinion, Sean McDermott is 2020 or 2010's Rex Ryan.
Good for a couple years, going to fizzle.
I don't know if he'll fizzle, but he reminds me a lot of Rex Ryan with his concepts.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I liked what you talked about with trading Darnold, getting a new coach, and because it's very reminiscent of another team here on the podcast and what they
Yeah,
did.
exactly
And
right.
I was crazy
It's
low.
looking pretty decent.
I was crazy low on it. I hated the idea. I thought Cliff Kingsbury was just a good offensive mind that took a huge leap. He had a losing record as a college head coach, so I thought that was a weird hire. I thought getting Kyler Murray after we drafted Josh Rosen, I think the first time maybe ever that a team picked a QB in the top 10 2 years in a row.
And I'll thank you for Josh Rosen, because I think that's going to be a fun little project for them.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's something there. I just don't think he's so much the old guard quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a Manning and a Brady in a league of Mahomes.
Which that's
Kyler
why
Murray.
that's why they went and got him.
Was my top guy in the 2018 draft.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
So I think that model that you presented is a good one. It seems to be effective. I think the
Look, it's a long season. It's week 4. I know that doesn't look. It looks like there might not be another win on the schedule, but who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows, though? Who knows?
Any given Sunday, man.
You don't. That's the thing. You just don't know what could happen. Right now, it looks like. But even in what year was it? I think it was. Maybe it was early when I was in college that they were sucking so bad, and it was like, oh shit, are they gonna get? I think it was Jameis I was looking at, and then they rattled off like 5 wins in a row.
It is still.
Do you
early.
honestly?
This shit happens.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, but if they fire Gase, I could see it happening.
Depends on who they get.
I
I don't
know,
think Greg Williams,
yeah, I don't think they have the
Greg
talent.
Williams should leave that team.
No.
I think I would like Jim Bob Cooter to be the offensive coordinator.
Jim Bob Cooter's pretty good.
He's not bad.
No, he's not. I just don't see this team. I don't see this team getting more than like 2. I just don't.
Well, you also have to put into consideration this week they're getting back Denzel Mims, Rashad Perryman, and Le'Veon Bell.
I'm sorry, Le'Veon Bell's not getting you much. He's just not.
I disagree.
He's just not. I'm sorry, he's just not. And your wide receiver core, great, but it's not. There's just not enough. There's just not enough. I'm sorry, there's just not enough.
I think
To get a
Not
win?
there. So no, they can get like I said, I can see a couple.
They can rattle off some wins. I'm not saying they're making the fucking playoffs. I'm just saying let's not pencil them in as the first pick just yet.
I'd be
shocked.
I'd be shocked if they. I really would. I'd be shocked if they weren't.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I
Yeah,
think they'll probably. In my heart of hearts, I think they'll have the first pick as well. But you know,
my only real opinion on that is every day that Adam Gase is in that locker room with Sam Darnold is stunting that man's growth to an alarming degree.
Yes,
And
it is.
get anybody. Like I guess that's kind of where I want to put a cherry on top on this for Jay. Let's say tomorrow the Yeet Gase and they don't do like that interim thing. They would, because that's what you have to do. But like tomorrow, bang, Gase is out. Who would you want in that's available?
oh, you mean, well, let's make it a realistic conversation then. Like end of the season, who do I want? I guess is a better question.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
I want the I can't fucking pronounce his last name to this day. The OC from Kansas City is who I want. Eric Bieniemy.
Oh, Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy. Thank you. I always want to say Bieniemy. I don't know why.
Well, it's not right, so fix it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to because he probably is gonna be the next head coach of the New York Jets.
Maybe.
Should be. He should be.
Should
he
be.
really should be.
That's the top.
I think him with Darnold would be a scary combo because I think you could take a lot of Kansas.
Yeah,
Bring
I think
it
so,
to New York
Yeah.
because Darnold can run. Darnold's shown he can. That run he had on Thursday was fantastic.
Yeah, I ripped off a good
He can
one.
run. He can
He's
do that. He
always
can
done
extend
that shit,
plays.
He
He can
did that shit
extend
in
plays.
college. But that's
Yeah,
the thing. He's always described as having magical sloppiness. He's like a Tony Romo-esque.
He'll
You can have your opinions on Tony Romo, but that's the type of quarterback he is. He's a Brett Favre for Tony Romo. He makes something out of nothing.
he's definitely shown that in New York he can do this.
Hmm.
Like even with being as bad as the Jets have been, like he's still shown those little glimpses. But it's a matter of finding the right coach
Yeah.
and coaching system and philosophy that allows those, little flashes to become consistent.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's got to be coached to do that every time, not just
Exactly.
every once in a while, every single time.
And
As
that's why
soon
I
as they
think
can find the coach that does that,
an Andy Reid protege would be perfect for that type of.
Andy Reid's
Yeah.
coaching tree is insane.
oh,
By
it's
the way.
fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's the polar opposite of a Belichick coaching tree.
Yeah, oh, they all succeed.
Yeah, as opposed to Belichick's, they all fucking lay an
All
egg.
flop.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a good move for you. I obviously hope the best for you.
I'm still holding out hope that Darnold will be the guy. But I mean, if you have the first pick, you're taking Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I think that's
At least have a battle. You could have a battle with them before you trade Darnold.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean-
that'd be a fun off season. Really, good way to gain some hype around the organization.
It would give buzz in a way that you guys haven't had in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you take a quarterback first overall, I think the writing's on the wall for Darnold. Either way, even if they do a training pack battle or whatever, I think it's the
Yeah,
writing's on the wall there.
Yeah.
yeah. He probably lands in like Washington, then.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it depends what they're gonna want to
Yeah,
take.
give up and
Like
all
how
that.
what pieces are they expecting to get back in return? If it's
Yeah.
draft picks, then yeah. If it's pieces, then it's a different.
Yeah,
I think that just going off of Joe Douglas's very short track history as the Jets GM, he's gonna want those. He wants to build his own team, is what he wants to do, and I respect the shit out of it. I mean,
Fair.
he got a fucking haul for. Don't get me wrong, I love Jamal Adams, but he's a fucking safety, and he got 2 firsts and 2 seconds for him.
yeah.
I mean, for a safety, are you fucking out of your
For a
mind?
safety who didn't want to be there as well.
Exactly. He already
Yeah, that's
trashed the
fair.
organization on social media. Like, you could have probably got him for less.
It was probably the second
Oh,
best
yeah.
trade of the offseason.
Yeah, it was a really good deal. Really good deal.
Second to DeAndre.
Yeah, it was a great pickup.
Fucking.
So we'll see. If and the other thing is that Joe Douglas' draft class, only 2 players have really played this year, so we don't really know his merit as a GM yet.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's still a lot of time left to really flesh that out. He's got a lot of time to build that team. I'm very excited to see what direction they go, and especially, in the coming weeks as these games kind of start to unfold. Next week's going to be a blast because we play you, so that'll be a fun little.
Yeah, we'll be at the family lake house. I'm thinking about bringing the big screen out on the deck and just like going banana sandwich.
Yeah, weather permitting, I think that'd be a blast.
I think that'd be our best. I think that'd be fucking fun.
I think we need to like social distancing's a thing right now. I think we need to be like 30 feet away from each other at all times, though, or we'll come to blows.
So DT might have a black guy on next week's podcast.
I don't think that's true. I realized I wasn't really in any danger the whole time. But I definitely think that's one of the more like the Jets situation is surprising, but it's one of the more interesting projects and storylines.
I don't think it's surprising at all. I knew going into the season this is one of the worst, if not the worst, rosters in the NFL.
I was optimistic. I try to, me, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but
I think getting Perriman and Mims back next week will really see what Donald has.
Yeah,
I like Rashad. I
do
really like
too.
Perriman.
Yeah, I do too.
But the question is, can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this year he has proved that the answer is no.
and if Mims is anything
Over his career, he has.
and if
I'm very, very excited to see Mims debut because he was so good in college.
Yeah, we need him. If he scores, they have to play "This Is Why I'm Hot" by Mims in that stadium. I'm starting the fucking petition right now. If they don't play that, I'm going straight to whoever
I'm boycotting the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, I feel like we've been doing Jets too long. Let's move
yeah.
along.
I was gonna say. I think they're going to be an interesting project, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
It will be interesting going forward.
There are other things I want to. There's other things I want to talk about, especially considering that this is a weird time to start a football podcast, being
Yeah.
in the midst of it's week 4 coming up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a chunk of the season's already gone, and I think there's been a lot of interesting things that have happened, both on and off the field, that are surprising and shocking maybe to some people. So I wanted us to kind of discuss. Just in a general sense, whether it's a player's performance, a whole team, any sort of outcome, what you guys both think the biggest surprise is so far this season. And since I've been handing it mostly to Jay, I'm gonna start with Ryan this time.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll give you guys the option. Do you want me to go player base or do you want me to go team base? Because I got one for Evan.
You can
Do
go
both.
Yeah, do both.
Yeah,
I don't.
do
It
both.
doesn't-
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
We're
start
like-
with the player.
We're like 35 minutes in, so.
Okay. I'll start with the player. It's honestly got to be Josh Allen. Josh Allen has. Don't get me wrong. I like Josh Allen a lot. I think he's a really good quarterback, and he's been getting better every year. I didn't expect this big of a leap from Josh Allen this
Yeah.
year. I mean, I know getting Stephon Diggs is a huge help, but I didn't see the pass accuracy getting this good. I didn't see his ability to run the ball getting this much better. He's just so much better. And
Yeah.
the Buffalo Bills are
Scary.
they're scary.
Yeah.
They're definitely a contender to be in that AFC title game against Kansas City. They really are. And
Yeah.
I honestly think that's what it comes down to is against Kansas City. Who's
No.
going to play them? And I think Buffalo can. I think they can get there.
I'll let
Yeah.
you rebuttal first, Jay.
Oh, rebuttal? No, Josh Allen was going to be mine as well.
Oh,
They've done everything that they needed to do to surround a young quarterback with everything he needs. Like the Browns did the same for Baker, and Baker's kind of floundering a little bit. So you got to give Allen credit where credit's due because they surrounded him with the weapons, and he's producing with the weapons they provided for him. So they're getting return on their investment on that. So yeah, I would agree. The most surprising player is definitely Josh Allen.
yeah. I would agree in that sense as well. I kind of fall somewhere in the middle between you two. I know Ryan's super high and has been for a while on Josh Allen, and Jay, I think mostly it's his Jets fan bias talking, has been very low, and I've been somewhere in the middle.
That's not even it, man. Every statistical category, his accuracy was bad the first 2 years.
It was bad.
Yeah, but
Just straight bad.
But it's been getting better. Like
Yeah,
it's been trending
but
up.
it was
Again,
it was marginally better though. This year
Right,
it
but
took a leap.
Huge jump.
Exactly.
Huge jump.
So the reason I was so low on Josh Allen, yes, I'm a Jets fan, but also if you look at the statistics, his accuracy was just complete dog shit his first 2 years. So that's why I was so low on Josh Allen. And yeah, the jump he's made has been nothing short of phenomenal. It's insane.
I mean, you were low on him coming out of the draft too, though.
I think, but that's because every draft expert that I follow was saying the same thing. It's like he just can't hit over. He has a cannon for an arm, but he cannot. His accuracy is just not there.
Yeah.
So the way the way that they've developed the kid is a testament to the coaching staff.
No, 1,000,000%. Like I said, I've always landed somewhere in the middle. I thought he had a rocket. If he could rein it in, he'd be good. I think it was a run for a TD sometime last year where I think I flipped my switch and I was like, oh, he's like, he may still never rein it in. Obviously, he's proven his passing has improved greatly. But what I think struck me about him was he's the right quarterback for that team. He's a blue-collar guy at a blue-collar city where they love a dude who's going to work hard and put his body on the line to score that TD.
Absolutely.
So
So my girlfriend father is a huge Buffalo Bills fan. I had him for fantasy last year, so I really tuned in, to Josh Allen. Just the way he's willing to run and take hits and make blocks and really put it all out there for the team is something that locker room's really gotten behind in the organization. And they think he's the future. They really do, and he's really looking like very nice to see.
He's in the MVP conversation at the moment, I would say.
1,000,000% is.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
He 1,000,000% is, and I think like I said, he's the right person to be in that position, and he's growing and flourishing week by week, and it's kind of really cool to see, and I'm happy for it. Jay and I firsthand have been in the trenches with Bills Mafia going to a Bills game, and those people know how to fucking party.
You know,
I
like
gotta get to that.
they're hardcore as hell, but they're actually nice fucking people.
They're so nice. Me
and DT
Love
were like
that city.
dressed head to toe in jet shit, and they were like, "Yo, you want a beer?" I was like, "Yeah, I do."
The
actually."
best
Yeah.
homie we made that day was a dude in a Dan Carpenter jersey. to let you know.
I walk up to this kid. I'm like, "Are you wearing a Dan Carpenter jersey?" He's like, "Yeah, he had a good year last year."
I was like, I
like,
respect it.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, sure, whatever,
I
You
man.
think-
gotta respect that.
I think no less than 15 minutes later, we watched a dude go off his RV through a flaming plastic table. So that was the
That
kind
sounds
of day
about
we
right.
had. It was like -15. There was lake effect snow. Fucking
I've been
highly
to- I've-
recommend it.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
been to
it was
Buffalo.
awesome.
I haven't seen Bills Mafia, but Buffalo as a city is a great place.
Oh, and
Like
the
it.
city
Really
rules
fun.
too. Last
Yeah.
call's
Yeah.
4
City
a.m.
rules.
We got weird.
So yeah, me and DT are in the bar until what, like 4:30 in the fucking morning.
Well,
And then we wake
last
up-
call was 4.
Yeah, last car was 4, but we didn't get back to the hotel till like
Yeah.
4:30.
Yeah.
And so we wake up at like what 9 to go start tailgating.
Yeah. And we learned
To be 22 again.
We learned
Yeah.
that the entire like mile or two around the entire stadium is for tailgating. Like there are people just in fields, in gas station parking lots.
That's
Like
insanity.
it was insanity. It was awesome.
It was
I love it.
bonkers. It
I'm
was
gonna
just
go
like
on the record and say behind enemy lines, big fan of Bills Mafia. Love you guys.
I'll drink to
um,
that.
Hell yeah.
I don't
brother.
I love you guys as people. I hate your football team.
That's fair. I mean, but to get back on subject, I think Josh Allen is the biggest surprise
Yeah.
for a lot of people. Player wise, I'm going to throw out, since I had one for a player, I was going to do a team one and I still will. But
Okay.
I think the biggest surprise, just because you literally couldn't have fucking wrote it, is Justin Herbert. Back-to-back 300-yard games, not
Yeah.
knowing he was going to start because the fucking team doctor punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung.
Is Joaquin Phoenix from Gladiator?
Yeah, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's my biggest surprise, just for the sheer shock factor of A, the whole situation that made it so that Herbert was in that starting role, and B, how he's performed.
I'm not surprised by Herbert at all. He was
Yeah.
going to be the Giants pick last year. He was going to be that pick if he had come out, and he didn't. And
Yeah.
if you watch him at Oregon, he was the knock on him coming out was his leadership qualities, because he's kind of an introverted kid. He's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
He's not like much of a rah guy. He's not a dick or anything, but he's just like not like your picturesque starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which I think is ridiculous. I think the kid can fucking sling it. You should draft him. But yeah, I'm not surprised by his performance at all.
I mean, I am, just because the historic lows of Oregon QBs the last handful of years
True.
has
True.
been.
They kind of switched up their offense a little bit with him though. Like it was more of a standard passing offense as opposed to just like the option of plays that they
The
usually
option,
do.
the Chip Kelly specials that have now are obviously relics of time, both in college and in the NFL. Love Chip Kelly, New Hampshire guy, big shout outs, but UNH great. Big love and respect. Oh, fuck off.
Boo.
Big
Man,
love and
baby.
respect. Big love and respect, but yeah, that definitely wasn't sustainable. So
Yeah.
and it showed in the Oregon products for a while. But I think Hebert's breaking that mold. But I guess I was again partially surprised because of that kind of Oregon QB curse. But I'm more literally surprised at the circumstances. I thought like 6 games in he'd probably play. But I didn't think, again, that he'd get fucking Julius Caesar, Tyrod Taylor would, to put him in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, you can't write that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So as a player, that's my shock, and I'm happy for the kid, and I hope he continues to sling it. He's got some great targets there to toss the ball to. Eckler, Keenan Allen. Love me some Keenan Allen. So I think he's poised to do well, but I think that was just a big surprise. So do you guys have team ones as well? I know Ryan does. I don't know if Jay wants to.
I do.
Yeah, I got 2 actually.
Go for it.
One's my actual pick, and one's surprising given the circumstances of the season.
Sure.
So my surprise is the Raiders, in my opinion.
Okay.
They have been playing pretty insane.
I know they had a stinker against the Pats, but I mean their first 2 games, they fucking beat the shit out of the Saints, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Carr looks good. Jacobs is a fucking stud. They look like they've built something that can last for a little bit there.
I've always been really high on Derek Carr. I think
Yeah.
he's real good.
Yeah.
I like their wideout set. I think Ruggs will come along as the fast guy. Hunter Renfro's been really good. I'm really high on Hunter Renfro.
He's a great red zone target.
He is. Waller's Waller. At this point, I think people know what they're getting with him, especially after he fucking exploded a couple weeks ago. So,
Yep.
He's still surprisingly underrated. I think he's a top 3 tight end in the NFL.
Wow. I don't know if I'd go that far, just
Yeah,
yet.
I
need
wouldn't
to
go
see
that
more.
far.
Who's
Yeah.
better than him? Ertz,
Kelsey,
who's like out every other week. Kelsey, yes.
Ertz,
The guy for San Francisco.
Kittle.
Kittle and Kelsey are obviously the top 2, but after that,
Yeah.
the arguments could be made.
Fair.
I mean, I don't know. Giannu Smith's up there.
He's
He's had
coming
two
on.
good-
Yeah, he's coming on, but he's
2
not.
good games though. I mean,
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Darren Waller has shown inconsistency. So I don't know.
every tight end in the NFL has like a side.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose.
Tight end's such a weird position to call.
It
I don't
is.
think. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
hard.
It used to be like back
A
in the day
quagmire.
Yeah.
in fantasy, tight end used to be. I feel like way easier to draft. Like now, it's like I don't fucking know.
Right.
There are always like 8 or 9 like real.
Yeah.
So, it's,
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So my other surprise team is gonna be the 49ers
Okay.
because like I said, this is my in-season pick because they
Yeah.
had just a ridiculous amount of injuries and they're still winning by a lot.
Yeah.
Granted they played the Jets and the Giants, but still
Yeah.
beating an NFL roster with that much of a depleted team, no matter who the team is impressive to me.
Yeah, they're deep.
They're deep. I think Shanahan's really good for them.
Nick Mullins is good.
Yeah.
Nick
Yeah,
Mullins
Nick
can
Mullins
throw.
Yeah.
So
Like, I think that's a huge help.
I guess given the circumstances, I'm surprised they're still winning. I was pumped obviously week 1. We got the big W against them and that kind of set the tone. I think a lot of people then overreacted about the Cards and how like for real they were. And now it's come back down after a really rough loss to the Lions. So I'm excited to see.
I wouldn't call that a rough loss. I think it's just like I said, the Lions are always good for like 2 or 3 upset.
They still should be the one.
Yeah, we should still win. They've given us
It's just
trouble the
something
last 2 years. We
Lions.
fucking
But
tied them.
it's the Lions, man. I mean,
So I think
Stafford's good.
I do love me some Matt Stafford, but still, that's a game. That was a game we should have won if we didn't play sloppy. We would have won. Kyler threw a lot of turnovers, and that's what screwed us. But I'm glad it brought everybody back down to earth on them, so that there wasn't this huge like they were getting a little too overhyped for my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think they're good and I think they're going to contend, but they couldn't keep. If they kept winning like that, the media was going to keep blowing it out of proportion. But I even saw it a lot in that second game against Washington. That second half, we played mega sloppy, and they almost crawled back into it. So I was like, this is going to be a tale of 2 teams where we're either slinging it, firing on all cylinders, and we're just like almost scoring at will, or it's going to get sloppy, and we're going to get the team we got the second half of Washington and then during Detroit. So it's about fitting those pieces together consistently. So I think that'll be good.
I hate to say it, D, but I think you guys got a trap game next week.
Oh boy, here we go. The Jets. You don't think we can beat the Jets?
Oh, I think you should handedly beat the Jets. That's why I'm calling it a trap game.
By 20.
I might hammer
we
the
get it. You
spread.
have a 43-year-old quarterback. You guys are set. I get it. No, but I think getting Perriman, Mims. I think Mims could be an X factor. Mims is like, who the fuck knows what he is at this point? And getting Bell back, and getting Becton and Fant back. I think it could potentially be a trap game. That's all I'm saying.
All I want to do is trade you guys our tight ends so I can watch Sam Darnold throw to Dan Arnold. I've wanted that for fucking like the last year and a half now. I want it to happen.
Once Gates gets fired, Herndon's gonna fuck. blow up.
No, it's about Dan Arnold. Fucking give me. I'll trade Herndon for Dan Arnold straight up for the memes.
You can't have it.
Fuck. All right, I'm getting a little off topic. My team surprise.
Yeah.
I was looking through, and one of the big things I wanted to look at is like who doesn't have a win yet, and like why is that? And so
Falcons.
my biggest shock. Well, they're pretty big too, but my biggest shock, honestly, is the Vikings.
Yeah, that's a good call.
The Vikings being 0-3 to me, I was like, they're a better team than that. I
They
know
are.
losing Diggs.
Defense wise, they're not.
Yeah, but I mean, Diggs
Their
is really
defense is
good,
bad.
but Justin Jefferson is one of the most he had one of the best seasons of any wide receiver in college football history last year,
and he had a dynamic performance. He really
and he
broke
had
out last week.
and he had a breakout week last week.
It's
So yeah,
it's like the way they've been losing that's been compelling to me because they put up 34 against the Packers in a shootout. That they lost a tough one to the Colts,
Their defense is bad.
yeah, they're
Their
not good.
defense is really, really bad.
which is
You know,
shocking.
Like, you used to fear the Vikings defense. You
Yeah.
don't fear it anymore. They're
They're
bad.
missing Xavier Rhodes,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
because he's been balling out in Indianapolis.
I mean, I can tell you, that Vernon Hargraves is not helping them. I can tell you straight up. Like, I've seen it. It's not helping anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It's
They
definitely
did-
the defense there, but still, you'd think there have been teams with bad defenses that do well because that offense is good and it's generally playing pretty well.
Yeah, the
So
Patriots
it's-
until about 2016.
it's it's still Kirk Cousins.
I
I
like
know.
that though.
I know, but Kirk
I don't-
Cousins, I know he gets a lot of shit, but he's not bad.
No, he's
He's
In
not
any-
bad, but he's not. He's just he doesn't do it for me. Like, he's just not gonna get him. He's not gonna get him.
I don't think he's ever gonna win.
They're not gonna go anywhere.
I don't think he's
Then,
gonna win a Super Bowl
then what's the point?
because they paid him like $100 million grand period, so they have.
Okay, I mean they. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't see, but I still don't see any forward movement in replacing him. Once it's time to replace him, like what? Like, you could
Yeah,
start
what do
getting
they
something
got?
ready now.
I mean,
Like-
maybe they're just not necessarily tanking, but if they lose a couple more games, then you gotta
That's
feel
right.
like the management it's creeping in the back of their head. Like, should we just draft the guy this year?
Well,
Like, Justin Fields maybe.
I tell you, I bet you they wish they did. I bet you they wish they did what the Green Bay Packers did and get Jordan Love now.
Hmm.
I didn't love that pick. I don't think
Not
Jordan
for the
Love,
Packers, but for the Vikings. Would you?
yeah, but Jordan Love wasn't that good.
Okay, but if you have him now, you can at least see. And if you still suck with Cousins, pick someone else.
Yeah,
If
but
Love
that's,
doesn't work out.
but I hate that mind track though, because it's like, oh, let's waste a second round pick and see. I hate that. Like, if you love a guy, take him. If you don't love him, don't take him.
Well, it's at a position that it's at a position that you're already started to be.
If
So,
you're
like, it's not
drafting a
like we're gonna get-
quarterback and you're not absolutely in love with him, then I lose all respect for you as a GM.
I mean, you could also argue it's playing defense. You're
Yeah.
stopping someone else from getting him and having him working out. They're all viable. They're all viable, ways of doing business.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
no, I agree. Yeah, you're right.
But I think that was some good banter about surprises this season. But I'd really like to move on because there is a week of football this week that we should talk about.
Fair.
And I want to start. I think generally because there's so many games, we can spend time on the ones that we really hold near and dear to our hearts. Obviously, Jay's kind of got a weekend off of this one, so that's going to be pretty cool.
I can sit back and watch Red Zone this Sunday. It's gonna be awesome.
So that'll be great for you. But I think I'm gonna probably just go through these games. Ask you guys for a prediction, maybe a take of what's going to happen in the game. We can spend longer times on the ones we care about more, that we hold more near and dear. But I think to kind of cover our bases and give every team a little bit of love, we should mention all the games. So I'm just going to do a rundown. Let me know your thoughts. I'll add mine in, all that kind of stuff, and we'll rock and roll through this so that way we can get some stuff in for the current week to then shit on each other for when we get it wrong next week. So first up on the docket, we got Saints.
Yeah. Should we put some betting odds on this?
Oh God, Jesus.
I mean, I'm probably, if I mention it, I might literally say that I'm betting on some of these games because I will.
Okay. Well,
But you
we don't
mean
have to-
like between the three of us, or like what were you?
yeah,
what were you-
that's what I was getting at.
Well, we could do something like a predictions thing, and we tally who gets what right, and like a record at the end. We can figure out who gets what at the end of the year.
I mean, maybe.
First
Yeah.
place, first
I
place
want
gets some
Edward.
sort of a prize. Last place
You're
gets
not gonna
shit.
get Edward. Edward,
I
for
want
those who
Edward.
don't know, is my cat. He's not in the room right now, but he's a good boy. You're not getting
All right.
Edward. Fuck
All
off.
right, let's go through the.
We can tally it up later if we want to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who's
Let's at least write down just so we know like
Yeah.
who was the most accurate. I
Yeah,
guess.
anybody who's
Oh, yeah,
watching
yeah.
this on any platform, you know, drop in the comments if you want to see that. And we're down for whatever. This is in its infancy. We're just dudes who like talking about football that are doing so, and anybody who wants to be a part of it, we'd love some audience participation. So let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
The definition of this podcast is it ain't that deep, Chief.
It ain't that deep. First game up on the docket tomorrow, 1 p.m. We got the Saints and the Lions. Cox, who you got? What do you got for some analysis on what you think the game's going to be like? Who's going to do well?
Well, I mean, let's be real. The Saints are definitely shorthanded. Not having Michael Thomas still is a huge thing.
I'm fucking so angry about that.
Yeah, it's not good. But I still got the Saints. I still got the Saints in this one.
You got-
Yeah,
you got-
I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them 28-20.
Close one. Any sort of spicy performance takes, or do you think it's just going to be a?
I think Emmanuel Sanders gets 2 touchdowns. I think he does.
That's spicy.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
I think he's gotten some good. He got good red zone looks early, but I think he's got to break through. He's a veteran guy in that.
He's been struggling with a few drops this year too, though.
Yeah, he's got to find it. I think he can. He can here.
Gotcha. Jay, what do you got?
I got the Saints 31-24.
Ooh. Any spicy takes from you? One?
It's not really a spicy take. I think Kamara has 3 touchdowns.
Three's a lot. I mean, even
Pretty. still
Receiving
kinda-
and rush, not
pretty-
not
receiving-
total.
Yeah,
I
still
get
pretty.
it.
Still pretty bland.
Yeah,
for the
I'm
team.
gonna-
that Lions defense is dog shit.
Yeah, it's pretty
they're
bad.
not. They're. I can't. I'm still a wounded Cardinals fan where Kyler Murray threw 3 interceptions to that defense. So,
Hey, you've won 2 games this year. Go fuck yourself.
well, I can't tell if it's because the defense, like if that's bad because the defense is bad, or if they're coming around and turning a corner. I think it's going to be a bit more competitive. I give the Lions a real puncher's chance in this with another week of their entire stable of wideouts being available. I think Galladay, Marvin Jones, I think they're a really good combo. I think like before the season started and before he was hurt, I thought Galladay was a contender to be like a top 3 wideout. That's how high on him I am. I think he might have a little bit of a coming out party now that it's his second healthy week. I can't give a specific score because I didn't think too much about it, but I think it could be like a Will Lutz at the end kicks a field goal kind of deal for the Saints to edge it out. But I give the Lions a real shot here. I think the win last week for them was huge. I don't know if it's a full turning point for their defense or if we were just playing sloppy, but I think that could be the big X factors if they can keep Drew Brees in his short throws kind of more on edge, and if they can contain Kamara in an interesting way, that could get really close really fast. Because I think Detroit's one of those sneaky teams, like you said, they're good for a couple shocks every week. I mean, it'd be crazy to think they go back to back, which is why I still have the Saints winning. But I think it's going to be a really interesting game, and I think Detroit's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Do you want me to save your Buccaneers and my team for last, or do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll skip it.
Okay.
I'll skip it and we'll do it towards the end.
Let's get through the other games and then do the 2 homer teams last.
Yeah, I got the battle. I got the battle of the big cats, Jaguars versus Bengals at 1. I started with Cox last time, so let's go with Jay this time.
I got the Bengals here.
Yeah, you think
think
Burrow pulls it?
Burrow has looked pretty goddamn good.
He has the most pass attempts in the NFL through 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. They've shown that they're gonna let him pass it until they can't let him pass it anymore. So yeah, I got the Bengals. Let's go 23-20.
Ooh, barn burner. Cool. What do you got there, Coxie?
Okay, I think yeah, I agree that Cincinnati's looking a lot better with Burrow. I mean, the offensive line is still not great, but he's showing a lot of composure under pressure, and he's really slinging the ball. And I think the connection between him and Boyd is really going to continue and flourish.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of starting to see Tyler Boyd become the number one wide receiver
Yeah.
in Cincinnati. And I think we see another great performance from Boyd, and I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns this game too, just like Emmanuel Sanders.
Ooh. All
I
right.
just think I just see it.
I
Their
like
connection
it.
is strong, and Burrow was really talking about that in the preseason too. Like
Yeah.
him and Boyd were really clicking then, and I think
Nice. I like that a lot.
Boyd's underrated.
I like Boyd a lot. I also have the Bengals, which kind of breaks my heart because I'm a big Gardner Minshew guy. I think Minshew's going to play well. He's going to be efficient. That's kind of been his MO. I think his defense is going to let him down in this one. I think, like I said, you guys have said it, Burrow's slinging. Boyd's really coming alive. My kind of spicy takes is I think they finally commit a little bit more to the run. I think Mixon gets 2 scores here. Finally getting off the blocks there.
that's a fantasy bias for you.
No, yes, I'm. Well, the thing is, so no.
I have him in a league, so yeah, I'm down for Mixon to
Well,
go
yes
up.
and no. Obviously, I'd Mixon in a league, but Mixon's also a slow starter historically the last 2 years.
Yes.
He started real slow last year, ended up top 8 in rushing.
He had like 800 yards in like 4 games last year.
So he's a slow starter. I think week 4 is a little early to think that like now he's coming on, but I think this is where he really starts to shake the cobwebs off. I think he might go for 100. He might go for 2. I think he goes for 2 scores, but one of them is probably a short yardage situation. I think they really start to involve him to open it up more for Boyd. And I also think T. Higgins probably rips off another dynamic game. I really like him. Yep. I'm high on him. Obviously, I think it's weird with the AJ Green situation. He and Burrow don't really seem to be gelling or clicking in quite the same way.
He also just doesn't look like the same guy anymore.
Yeah, so it might. But I think the Bengals win it. I think Minshew's efficient. I think this game. I think the Jags D lets him down really in this one. So that's kind of my take there. Moving on, we got Vikings and Texans at 1. Coxie, start us off.
Man, I guess we're just all waiting for Deshaun Watson. Like it just seems like we're really waiting for him to get going. And let's be real. Again, like we said, the Vikings defense, nothing special. Like they're really bad.
Yeah.
And I think this is when Deshaun Watson like announces like, okay, I'm here this year. Like I'm ready.
Yeah.
This is like a 300 plus yard throwing performance. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he adds like another 75 on the ground in a score. Like
I can see that. Yeah.
I feel like this is a huge Deshaun Watson game. There's so much emphasis has been on the secondary. And I just think he's going to be able to throw it, and whenever he wants, he can run it. He just can. So being at home, this is a blowout to me. This is a blowout.
Oh, it's not
this
close.
This is like a 40 to 17 blowout.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay, that's a hot take.
This is a blowout.
All right.
Interesting. Okay, Jay, what do you got?
I got the Vikings winning this one 24-14.
Ooh.
Wow.
Off the bat of what?
Okay.
What do you think it is?
Dalvin Cook and Mr. Jefferson.
You love you some Mr. Jefferson. I think
Look, here's the thing. Dalvin Cook went the fuck off last week. I think this is just that was his coming out party. I think Dalvin Cook's going to continue that. Justin Jefferson, like I said before, had one of the most prolific seasons of any college wide receiver in the history of the NCAA. I think that's going to continue, and I don't think they get it done with just what do they got? Will Fuller, and that's it.
They got Cooks, who's been playing kind of rough. David Johnson's hot and cold.
Cooks is. I mean, he's good for like 2 fucking games, and then.
But we've seen with Cam Newton what a running quarterback can do when you don't have the best offensive weapons around you. And you have to admit that the Texans have better offensive weapons around Deshaun Watson than the Patriots have around Cam. And Cam's been decent.
For sure. Yeah.
Maybe not in throwing the ball, like last week, but with running the ball, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it could very well be a Texans blowout, but in my heart of hearts, I really think the Vikings take this one.
I like that. I like a little bit of parity here. There's some differing in opinions, so I guess I'm the tiebreaker here. I got the Texans. I got the Texans here. I think it might be. I think it'll be more shootout-y because both defenses haven't really shown a lot in terms of stopping people. In fairness to the Texans, they've played the Chiefs and the Ravens back to back to start the year. It's gonna make
that's actually a really good fucking good point.
it's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
a lot of teams look bad, but I think the Texans have shown more this year. Close loss last week to the Steelers. You can never count the Steelers out. Mike Tomlin's a G. And he'll pull a team of fucking high schoolers to like an 8-8 record in that league. I believe that.
He will. Look what he
Absolutely.
did. What he did last year was
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
They almost made the playoffs.
So little bit of a rough opening stretch for Houston, but I think this is where they bounce back and kind of the struggles for the Vikings continue. I think, like we said, if that defense can't get it together, I don't think they find it here against Watson. His weapons may not be as scary as in years past when he had Hopkins, but I think Fuller's still a viable deep threat when he's on the field. Cooks is the same way. He can surprise you. I think David Johnson has a good game here because he's kind of had a little bit of a coming out party.
I'm a huge Will Fuller Stanley, so I would be really happy if he had a coming out game this week.
I think DJ shows that he's still got a lot left in the tank, and that makes that trade look a lot more fair to the Texans because he's been doing that a little bit lately.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Vikings have an answer for it. I'd probably say, again, I didn't put specific numbers down for this because I'm ill prepared as the host, but I'd say it's maybe like I'd put the spread at like 12.5 points for that game.
Wow. Okay.
I think they win by like 10 or more.
Damn,
in that game. That's just how I feel about the Texans. I think this might start a good stretch for them of stringing it
agreed.
together and making that division a little more interesting.
Yep.
Next, we got Seahawks versus Dolphins at 1.
I
don't remember I don't remember who I opened with last time. So, Jay, since you kind of took the floor, what do you got?
it's the Seahawks. Are you fucking kidding me? Here's two things. A, Russell Wilson is probably going to get the MVP this year.
Let him cook.
And B, the Dolphins aren't very good, and Fitzpatrick is due for a 6 interception meltdown, as he does every team he's ever played for. He has that 6 interception meltdown. I think he's due.
Fair enough, Coxie.
I think Seattle definitely wins.
Yeah.
Their offense is just way better.
Yeah.
Seattle's defense though
Not
is
good.
not good.
Not
Not
good.
good. And Fitzy can throw. He's been pretty good with the Dolphins, and I think Devontae Parker has a big game. I think Preston Williams has a big game. I see both of them going over 100 yards,
Wow.
and I see both of them getting a touchdown.
I can see that. I can see that.
really do.
Seattle's
I-
pass defense has been fucking atrocious.
And don't underestimate Gaskin.
I like Miles Gaskin.
He has shown that he can be a great check down option for Fitzpatrick. And he can, he's not the most prolific running back, but he's a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Miami keeps this close at home. I really do. I think this is like a 33-27 kind of game.
I could see that easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think that Fitzy makes like a back-breaking interception in the 4th.
That's possible.
He's prone
100%
to that.
see that.
He's absolutely
Yep.
prone to that.
As a Jets fan, I watched him do these things.
Yeah.
I watched it live.
He did.
I watched it when he was with the Bucks.
Yeah. I also have the Seahawks here. Like we talked about, Russell Wilson's playing out of his mind. I don't think anybody in the defensive backfield for Miami can match up with DK Metcalf. That guy's a fucking
Tyler Lockett, who's been blowing.
yeah. Lockett's one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. Just full
He's really
full
good.
stop.
Greg Olson's really coming kind
Mhm.
of back.
Yeah,
He's having a resurgence here.
I think
Former Wayne Hill's great.
he
So-
is.
Yeah.
So my dad went to high school.
Wayne Hills, baby. I think it's it's at least one score, probably. Although Miami is prone to surprising some people, I think they keep it close early and fall apart late. I think the defense gets worn down by Wilson slinging the ball and whoever it may be at running back. I'm not fully sure on Carson's status currently, but they got a couple of other good guys back there that could probably.
I think they just sling it. I don't think they're going to rely on the running game at all. If I'm being honest.
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see when it happens, but I think it's close early and falls apart at the end there for Miami. I do think Mike Gesicki has a good game. I like him. I'm very high on him as a TE.
Yeah, he's really good.
And I think we see flashes of what could be for Miami. And I think this might be the game. I think, especially if that backbreaker happens that Jay's talking about, I think this is when the Tua talk starts.
Yeah, that's possible.
I think I had him pegged at like week 6. They'd throw him in. Fitzy's been.
I think they should give him the year because like a hip injury is not something you want to fuck around with.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not making the playoffs. Just give him the year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they have to sell tickets right now or anything, so I guess that's fair.
True.
If I was a Jets fan and he was a Jet and we had the same situation, I'd be like, just start Fitz. Like, just give him the year. It's like, we're not making the playoffs. We're not winning the Super Bowl. Just let him heal, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, and I wonder, I'm curious for Miami fans what their take on it is, because obviously that's their big commodity of the future and how they feel they should handle it. So if we do
if that's the commodity of the future, you need to protect it then.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, but I mean, that could be part of it. The other part could be live game experience. He's got to get used to the NFL game. So I could see the counterpoint being the case if any Miami fans happen to stumble across this fucking mess of a podcast. Feel free to
I don't remember Mahomes starting a game his rookie year. I could be mistaken.
Did he start 17?
I think he started 1. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Week 17 when they had already locked in the playoff spot. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
And that's when he slung it. Everyone was like, "Oh, that kid's good." And then they yeeted Alex Smith in the offseason.
Yeah.
I would say it worked out.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think that guy's going to be okay at football.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if we have any Dolphins fans that end up stumbling across this, I'd love to hear your take on what you think you guys should handle the Tua situation and what that's like.
It's not a Tua.
It's not a Tua. It really ain't. Next up, we got Browns versus Cowboys. What are we thinking? I think I started with Jay last time. So what do you got, Ryan?
Okay. Question is, I think for Cleveland, how do you split your offense? Because they've been relying a lot on the run.
Mm-hmm.
A lot on the run. Do they try and break out Landry and Beckham? Do they? On a depleted, Dallas secondary, do they try and have Baker throw it now? Because we haven't really seen Baker throw it, and when he hasn't looked good. So, and I don't think he's going to look good here either. I really don't. Dallas wins this, and I think they win this by double digits. I think this is a 5-20 kind of a fair. Cleveland's defense isn't that great. It's there, it's serviceable, but I don't see it stopping Dak. I just don't.
Jay?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that one. I think it's a double-digit Cowboys win. Here's the thing. In my personal opinion, I think Chubb is the best running back in the NFL right now. When you watch him run,
insane.
It's violent. It's violent how he runs, and it's absolutely insane. But to Coxie's point, Baker just doesn't look good.
No.
He doesn't look like the guy. I know I'm biased, but like I see more Sam Darnold throws that are good than I see Baker throws that are good.
Ooh.
And that's not what you want from a Jets fan who's the worst team in the NFL to say that. When you have Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and they have Austin Hooper, you should be winning these games handedly, but they're not. So I don't think Baker's the guy. I think it's going to be closer than people expect. I think it'll be a 10-point game. I think it'll be, let's say 31-21.
Gotcha.
Cowboys.
Yeah. I have the Cowboys as well. I think their offense has been very dynamic lately. Those young wideouts are working dividends for them, especially, Amari Cooper's always a threat. You got Zeke in the backfield. That O-line's as good as ever, even though, we had some retirements and drop-offs and some things like
They're
that.
still decent. They're still middle of the pack at worst.
Yeah, worst. I still think they're one of the top end O-lines in the league. I think, like you said, that Browns D isn't showing a ton. I know Jarvis is still a little hobbled. I think he's even might be questionable for the game. I might be talking out my ass at that point, but I know he's not fully online from whatever. I think it's some sort of leg that's hampering him. So I think that plays negatively into them, and I think that's why they've been leaning so much on the rush. And when you have a two-headed monster like Chubb and Hunt, you can kind of get away with that. But I think the point stands to reason. If you have a QB who has Odell Beckham, Austin Hooper, and Jarvis Landry, and you can't get them the ball, that's
what are you doing?
That's symptomatic of I guess you could
wrong.
maybe say coaching, but Baker's the guy who needs to deliver the ball. Hasn't done so.
He hasn't been doing it.
If he wakes up somehow, and this is the week where he pulls something off, I think it could be a one-score game. But in order for a Browns win, he has to wake up feeling dangerous. Yeah, apparently hasn't done that in a while.
I hated that when he said that. I was like, oh, you're such a douchebag.
I like it when guys get a little fucking wiggle in them. So
I fucking hate it. I was like, you're a douche. Fuck off.
I was gonna get a Baker Mayfield headband, but
I didn't.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the Cowboys win that game, and I don't think it's close unless Baker has a real fucking big bowl of Wheaties going into that game.
I think it's at least a 10-point game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to skip my game as well because we're going to do that later. I got the Colts versus the Bears, which in a very interesting matchup. Yazzie, start us off.
I got the Colts here. One of the top 2 defenses in the NFL right now. Rivers is cooking. Jonathan Taylor is just getting started.
I love Jonathan Taylor. I'm crazy high on that guy.
I think the Colts win 28-14.
Gotcha. What do you got, Cox?
I think Nick Foles is going to win himself another football game.
Ooh.
He absolutely might.
I think him and Allen Robinson will be a big thing. I think Allen Robinson's going to want to go. He's going to want to chug along to that end zone. That's what he's going to want to do. And I think I keep saying 2 touchdown games. I think it's another one. I just do. I could easily see Robinson. And I could see Chicago, I could see them winning this, kind of handily, but I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game. I think this is going to be like a 23-20.
Yeah,
wow.
I can see that.
Gotcha. I'm
a Robinson Stanley, so I can see that.
You do love Allen Robinson.
He's really, really good.
I have the Colts here as well. I think it's competitive. I think the Bears will continue to look markedly better with Foles. I think, though, that defense, I don't think they have the front line on the Bears to stop them. I think Darius Leonard eats. I think Leonard eats tomorrow. Pretty handily. So I think it might stay competitive. I think it might even be like a turnover type of game. I actually think Montgomery has a good game. I could see him getting like 70 yards and a score. But I think something key late with that Bears team that doesn't seem to ever be able to get it together when it matters. I think that's when they bungle. It could be 3 points. It could be 1 score. I think it's another one of those factors where that defense that's been playing so huge for the Colts steps up when they need to, when they got guys like Leonard there. And so I think the Colts win a surprisingly close one, but I'm taking the Colts.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it is an interesting dynamic with Foles starting, as opposed to Trubisky.
Oh, 100%.
All right, next one.
Yeah, next one. We got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Washington really new football team.
Yep.
Hot take. I have the Ravens winning this one.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
38
wow.
38-10.
Oh
Ravens.
wow, a fucking a wiping here.
They're gonna fuck up the Washington's. Look, they're not bad. They've shown some spunk the last couple weeks, but and the Ravens are just a whole nother class of team.
Fair.
Yeah,
Cox, what do you got?
I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah, I think the Ravens, after getting kind of embarrassed against the Chiefs,
Yeah, they're gonna be
I-
pissed.
well, yeah, they're gonna be really pissed.
They're gonna run up the score if they can.
And Washington's pretty close. So in terms of like a rivalry,
Mhm.
it's kind of there. Like they're gonna go in there and absolutely.
Yeah.
This is definitely gonna be, would you say, Jay? 38-10.
Yeah,
Each. Shit.
I think Washington scores.
You know what?
They're gonna get red zone a few times, but the Ravens team is just gonna clamp down.
Yeah. You know what? I'll give Washington more credit. Let's go with 35-17.
Okay.
I think both of those scores are pretty close to what it's going to be. I also have the Ravens. I think their defense has been playing real aggressive and angry lately. They're actually playing pretty high level, despite the opponents that they've really had. Chiefs is never a good draw for anybody. Going to make everybody look kind of foolish. But I think generally the Ravens D's been strong. I think Washington, like you said, they have a lot of spunk. They have a lot of fight. I think Ron Rivera is a good fit for them there.
Yeah.
I think, and
do
I know they want Haskins to show something, or they're going to start reconsidering. I don't think that's a bug you put in this guy's ear when he's going up against that Ravens defense, though, because I don't think he's going to look particularly strong. I think he's going to have a really I think he's going to have a really rough night. I thought about reconsidering for a sec. I still think McLaurin probably gets the end zone once. I like me some Scary Terry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, he's really good. He's gonna get his plays, but it's not gonna be enough.
Yeah,
He's gonna score a touchdown, bitch.
I think, I think where this game really shines is that Baltimore offense. I think with a very hobbled football team front line, a lot of their guys are hurt. Young's gone. Ioannidis, who's really underrated. He was hurt last week. Kerrigan as well. So I actually think Baltimore gets it done like hard on the ground this game. I think both Dobbins and Ingram score a touchdown. I think Lamar does some magic as well, might get in the end zone himself. I think this is going to be a run heavy game for those guys with that hobbled front seven. And that's really all. That's really all I got to say about it.
I think a return from I think he'll have a much better game. Game.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, I think he's gonna play angry. Yeah, I think I agree with that statement that you said earlier, Coxie.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna play angry.
All right. We got Giants Rams. Coxie, lead us off.
Do we really have to discuss this? This is Rams. Rams. At 27-10. Rams.
All right.
It's the Rams.
Perfect. Jay?
I don't know what else to say.
I think the Rams win it, obviously. I think, and it pains me to say this, the Giants are a really streaky team. I think Daniel Jones could make this closer. I don't think he will, but I think he could. I'm going. Slayton's pretty damn good.
Ingram needs to show
Ingram's
more.
pretty good. But I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna go. I don't know. Let's go 35-10 Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I also have the Rams, as much as it pains me to say. I want them to catch another L so we can, be competitive in the standings, trying to vie against the Seahawks and the Rams. That division's a murderer's row. So any division L's that I can try to see, I will go for, but this isn't one of them. I think after the Super Bowl hangover season that they had last year, McVay's proven again that he's a crazy good offensive mind. If you can get a guy like Jared Goff, who didn't know how to call plays before he went into the NFL, to be a competent quarterback, you're pretty much a wizard.
Wasn't he an MVP backup his second year, or did he win the MVP? Did he win it?
Goff?
Or was he a back the runner up for the MVP? He was close.
NFL?
Yeah.
He never won the MVP. No.
He was close though.
No, he was a contender.
Yeah.
But no, he never won it. But he's got it coming together. I think the Giants have a lot of work still to do to rebuild that team, especially without Saquon. I think this game would be much more interesting if Barkley was there. But I think the Rams win pretty handily.
I think Barkley's a bust.
Really? Wow.
Mhm.
That's a hot take. He might never be the same after his knee.
Yeah.
He needs an offensive line. Like, that offensive line is fucking
Wow,
horrible.
a running back needs an offensive line. Fucking hashtag analysis.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, that's why people don't take running backs high anymore. Is because it's like people are discovering, oh, you can't magically just draft a running back high and expect them to get 1,000 yards because you need the offensive line.
Unless they're a fantastic pass catcher. Like CMC doesn't have to be a great runner. Just catch the ball out of the backfield.
The offensive line there is not. I mean, it's middle of the pack.
No, but I'm saying even if he didn't have his pass catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
okay.
All right, next one. Let's go.
We got Bills versus Raiders.
That's a
Ryan-
good one.
No,
That's a
no,
good one.
No, Jay, actually start. You have the
No,
AFC.
no, no, Ryan,
East.
Ryan, go ahead.
Oh, Bills.
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 Do you think it's close?
No, I really don't rate Vegas. I really don't. I think their first two games were kind of an aberration.
Okay.
They seem pretty average to me. Like I'm not seeing anything special.
Yeah.
But with Buffalo, I do. With Buffalo, I do. I still.
Isn't John Brown out tomorrow though?
I don't
know.
I think he might be, but I don't think that matters. This is 35. This is 35-17 Bills.
Okay. Jay?
Okay, damn. All right. I hate the Bills. They're my second least favorite team in the league. It goes Pats Bills. I think the Bills win this. I think it's closer than that though. I think it's like 28-24 Bills. I think Josh Allen has like one last drive to win it. 21.
How many rushing touchdowns do you think he gets?
One.
Oh, I think he gets 2.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think he gets 2.
I also have the Bills here. I think this game is sneaky in a lot of ways.
I think it's gonna be a lot closer than people are expecting.
And I think the big X factor is obviously the Bills have a pretty scary defense, especially that front seven. If they can contain Jacobs, then I think the Bills win this more handily. I
think Jacobs could be the X factor there.
If Carr is slinging it and like Renfro and Ruggs are feeling it and they're burning those DBs, could be a little different.
I think Ruggs is out.
He might be. You're right. But I think that game could be interesting. I'm going to give the edge to the Bills because I think they're still rolling. I think a lot of this league is momentum and they got it. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders win this game. I'm actually.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wouldn't be shocked either way on this one.
I think I'm going to give it like a 5-point spread. I think that it's pretty competitive.
Either team winning wouldn't surprise me whatsoever.
Oh, it would surprise me greatly.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. The Raiders fucked up the Saints, man. I think the Saints are a better team than the Bills, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the Saints. It's the same. It was the Saints without Michael Thomas.
I mean, I guess, but still.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
Either way, next up we got Eagles and Niners. Jay, you lead because Cox did the last one.
Niners. I'm going to take the Niners. Kyle Shanahan has shown that he can do a lot with a little. And the Eagles, I saw a report on Twitter today that they had one healthy wide receiver on their roster on Thursday's practice.
Yep.
One healthy wide receiver.
Yeah.
I like Carson Wentz just as much as the next guy, but I just don't think he gets it done here. Coxie.
Yeah, I have to agree. Philadelphia is just they got nothing. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey coming, starting to come back into the fold is really going to be helpful. So it really doesn't do anything for them. Yeah, this is San Francisco. And I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close at all.
I don't either.
Yeah, I
yeah,
got the Niners.
I still see this only being like 24-10.
Yeah.
Maybe 20-10.
Yeah, I could see. I could easily see like a 24-10 game,
Yeah.
maybe more. I mean, the Eagles are just fucking battered, dude.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Jalen Rieger because I was really high on him coming out because I think
I was not as high on him, but I knew he would be good for that system.
yeah, and he's just been banged up. Everybody's been banged up. It's a little
Yeah.
bit of an unfortunate circumstance. A lot of teams are banged up though. Niners are another great example of that. Although I think Raheem comes back this week. I saw whispers.
Yeah, I think so.
I saw
think
whispers
so.
about that. I think that's the big factor here. I think Mostert probably runs all over him. I think Niners
Yeah.
win that game. I think it's pretty handily at that. But even the Eagles in these games, they've been getting their ass kicked. They always kind of crawl back into it and come back. So I think that formula might still stay the same where like you think they're out of it, they crawl back, heartbreakingly close, and then they fall apart at the end. But I have the Niners winning that one.
Yeah.
We have on Monday we got Falcons Packers, and then we'll go to the other games that we've been holding off on. So Falcons Packers, Coxie, who you got and why?
I mean, let's be real. It's the Packers. I mean, even if Atlanta got out to it, do you trust them to hold it? I sure don't. So Aaron
It must
Rodgers
be
has been
so
sticking it.
frustrating to be a fucking Falcons fan.
I'd be so
It
sad.
has to be.
Like, at least I
Yeah.
know my team's gonna suck, so I'm already prepared for the fact that my team's probably gonna suck. But just to be in all of these games, and not even be in them, but like be winning by this like margin and just losing,
By
it
double
must-
digits.
it must take a toll.
Yeah, it has to be. And I really think they're gonna start if they get blown out in this game, Dan Quinn's on the hot seat.
Yeah,
oh,
easy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he already is now, but I mean, I think who gets fired first? Adam Gase, Dan Quinn.
Knowing the Jets management, I'm gonna go with Dan Quinn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
So Aaron Rodgers is gonna feast. He's gonna have himself a game. But at the same time, I could also see Aaron Jones having a fun time.
Yeah.
So this is like a 42-14 kind of game. I think Green Bay's defense is actually stop them.
Yeah, I think I echo a lot of those sentiments. I think Green Bay wins this. I think
Is Julio playing? I don't think Julio's
he's
gonna play.
doubtful. He's
Yeah, doubtful means no.
yeah.
Is he? Yeah. So
Or he might be
and
questionable.
Russell Gage is out. I think
Yeah.
Ridley's also hurt. So like, who are they throwing to at this point?
Yeah, I don't
Come
know.
Ridley, baby.
He might be hurt.
My personal opinion, I think it's gonna be a close ass game. I think the Falcons come out with a lead and blow it. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think it's
Again,
gonna be.
another one.
I honestly think it's gonna be a close one. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I think it's gonna be like 35-31 Packers.
Well,
Hmm.
I think the Packers win. I think I don't think, especially if like Julio's out again and if Gage is out and all these things, I don't think it'll be as close as Jay does. I think Aaron Jones is going to have another day because that's just apparently becoming who he is, and apparently
Yeah.
his teammates love him and he's great. So I think he has a good day. That's really all. I don't have a ton more to say about it. I think this Packers team is really good, and it will be good as long as Rodgers is there.
Yep.
So I think they win that pretty handily.
Yeah.
If it happens on Tuesday, Patriots Chiefs. If it happens on Tuesday, I don't know if you guys want to cover this.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Fuck out of
It's
here. It's the
Chiefs.
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 Yeah, I think it is as well.
Next.
Obviously Newton won't be playing. That's a huge
Yeah,
factor.
yeah. I mean, Newton could be an X factor, but even if Newton was playing, it's Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Do you think it's close?
No. I don't think it's close.
Nope.
Perfect. I'll do my team first because I'm a nice host.
Okay.
So we have Arizona Cardinals versus the Panthers.
Mm.
Let's have Jay go since he's going to be a neutral party in both of these games. I'll have him lead.
I got the Cardinals. I think it might be a little closer than you would like, Dave. I think the Cardinals defense takes another step back. I just don't think there's enough bodies there. and I think that Teddy and Robbie Anderson have a good little connection going. I would say they're like 24-21 Cardinals.
Ooh, close. Okay. Coxie.
Yeah, I'm still gonna take the Cardinals. I do think it's close. Davis is really filled in well for CMC.
Mm-hmm.
And Teddy Bridgewater loves to dump it down. He really does. So it's kind of going to be a cuts against the Panthers. And yeah, I still see 24-21 Cardinals. I'll take that. Yeah,
Wow.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the tale of two teams, right? Are we going to get the sloppy Arizona team, or are we going to see the deathly efficient team that took out the Niners?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest X factor is who we're going to see. I think that Carolina defense has nothing for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think they have anything close to being able to stop him. So I think Hopkins eats like he has all season. I think that's a pretty freezing cold take. I think Drake has a respectable game on the ground as well. I think because they're going to be mad, they're going to play mad last week. I don't think it's as close as you guys do. I think they have that deadly efficient. Cliff's going to game plan harder than he did against the Lions. He knows he got trapped. He knows he got caught. He's a young coach that's developing with a young quarterback. I think they scheme some stuff out that we probably haven't seen already this season, and they come out and they swing for the fences against the Panthers. And I'm gonna make it like I think it's gonna be like a 14-point game. I think Chandler Jones.
I could see that coming. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I think I don't believe in that Panthers O-line. I think Jones gets 2 sacks. I think the biggest X factor is if Teddy likes to dump it, if our DBs, who other than Budda Baker and Peterson have been very suspect, going back to last year, we made no changes. Byron Murphy's the fucking biggest hot and cold DB I've seen, I think, in my life. So I think if they get that kind of offense out and we don't contain Mike Davis on those little like CMC-esque things, then it could be more interesting. But I think our offense is going to come out so hot and so ready to really jazz things up and do some interesting things that I don't think anybody's seen from us this season. That I think it's going to be a wider margin of victory than you guys said. And I have the Cards winning because I think they have to bounce back strong from that tough Detroit loss. Moving on, we got yo dang Buccaneers against the don't call me San Diego LA Chargers.
Yeah, I really think this is Tampa. They've been doing something that's been rather interesting where in the first half they'll absolutely destroy a team, and then the second half against the Panthers they kind of let them back in the game. But the Broncos were so just broken and inefficient that there's no way they were really. But I could see the Chargers kind of getting back into the game after really substantially early. I think it's something to where like the Bucs early. I mean, they're not going to have Godwin. They're not going to have Fournette. So it's going to be a lot of Evans. I really think Gronk's going to continue to show himself.
Yeah.
As he's kind of worked himself into the offense. So I think Gronk gets in the end zone, and I think the Bucs go up 24 to 10 at half, but it finishes like 31-24 at the end of the game for the Bucs.
Nice.
Jay?
Yeah, sorry, I was having a little technical difficulty there. My headphones decided to shit the bed, so so I'm headphone-less now. But yeah, I see the Bucs winning this one pretty handily, if I'm being honest. That defense looks really good, like surprisingly good. I think Brady has a bounce back, not even necessarily a bounce back week, because he had a good week, but people have been questioning whether or not he's still Brady. And I think Evans fucking feasts this game.
Yeah.
I got the Bucks. I think it's a close one. I think it's a typical Tom Brady win in the fourth quarter. Keep
I can
it
see that.
tight. My hottest take is I think Herbert has another 300-yard game, but I don't think it's enough to outduel Tom.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That's gonna be my spicy take.
Hot take.
That makes me anxious.
I think he does it. I don't think it's enough. I don't think the young gun outduels Tom. I think the big X factors in that game are the actual rushing attacks. I'm not talking Eckler out the backfield with receptions. I'm talking like Ronald Jones versus Eckler and Kelly on the ground. If they can break out some runs to keep that defense honest, to open up the passing game, that game gets a lot more interesting. I think the Chargers lose a close one to Brady in his late game heroics and magic that he's so prone to doing. And I think, as much as it hates me to fucking give you any sort of credit for anything, I think that's a win on the schedule for them.
I don't like if the Bucks lose this game. That's disappointing.
That's a problem.
It's disappointing, yeah, but I don't know. I think it's still early.
Yeah.
I think we got to wait till midway through the season to really start like judging them, since this is
Yeah, I mean it's still early.
Fourth game.
It's still early.
Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't had a full they've only had, they really only had one game where they were all fully healthy to start, and then Godwin got hurt.
Yeah.
They've yet to have a full complement for like an.
It'll be fun. I think it's a fun slate of games this week, and I'm excited to see how we do with our predictions and takes. That's the first week of predictions and takes in the book. Let's transition. I got one big debate question for us to wrap things up here, and that's who of our teams do we think will do the best this season, and why do we think that? I don't think that.
I think they'll do the best.
So I think my argument is I think Arizona is going to be the more impressive team. I think this offense has really gelled in the second year under Kingsbury. I think the addition of D-Hop has obviously been huge for us. And as Kyler and Cliff continue to develop both together in the scheme, but also just as players and coach individually in the league, I think the Niners win was a statement of like, strap yourselves in, this is going to be fun. I think we make the playoffs. I think with the expanded playoff system, especially even in that bloodbath of an NFC West, I think we get in. Depending on seeding and matchups, that's going to change how far I think we get. But I think bouncing back from where we were into a playoff spot's a huge step forward. And that's kind of where I view us. As opposed to, I think obviously the Bucks are good. I think they'll probably get into the playoffs with the way that that division's kind of shaking out. But it's for me, it's almost the take of like, how long can Brady keep doing this? All he does is play in longer seasons. He's been in the off season for so long as a 43-year-old. Eventually you got to wear down. If this gets late in the season, especially with no training camp, no preseason, and this whole COVID outbreak, that's when a body's going to break down.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The TB12.
Oh my God.
The pliability. All right. Like
Nice.
Very fucking.
That man is a testament to the human figure and what it can accomplish.
Oh my God.
Now, the Buccaneers will go farther. They might not necessarily always look better than the Arizona Cardinals, but they will go farther. It's an easier division. I mean, we've seen that Carolina and Atlanta, they're not gonna, unless Atlanta figures it out how to hold a lead.
Unlikely.
They're not going to compete. So it's very easy for the Bucs to make the playoffs as a wild card team. So I would not be surprised if the Cardinals, just because of that division, end up going 8-8, 9-7, looking really, really good and not making the playoffs. But if they make the playoffs, they scare the ever-living bejesus out of them.
Yeah, they should.
So
I think that's the most viable first-round matchup too. If they end up squeaking in, is us versus you.
Yeah. So not pumped for that, but I think the Bucks overall, they have definitely more proven offensive weapons.
Yeah.
Their defense under Todd Bowles looks really really good.
Not to interrupt you, but proven offensive weapons. I don't think it gets more proven than DeAndre Hopkins. I don't care who you have on your team.
I know, but Godwin though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So like you have the one, we have two.
Well, Godwin only had was last year.
love-
Godwin's 1 year so far.
Larry Fitz, but like, he's like fucking 50 years old, dude.
Hey, he's playing his role great. Third down possession guy, moving the sticks.
They'll just keep using Isabel.
But Godwin's not a third down possession guy. He's an every possession wide receiver.
He's
Like,
had
he's
1 year, so can we not crown him? He's had 1 year. I think he's great. I think he's going to continue to do well, but he's had 1 year. So I think DeAndre Hopkins is better than Mike Evans, which makes him by proxy better than Chris Godwin.
Right, but is he better than the both of them combined?
Depending. They need to be on the field at the same time for me to determine that.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
Especially since Brady doesn't have the arm to get it down the field to either of them. So
I don't know. He's made some deep throws to Scotty Miller, running up the seam.
well, that's
like
his guy, right? He's got to find a white guy who played lacrosse to throw to on any team.
That's right. That's right. And, the one.
I'm thinking about trying out for the Bucks wide receiving core.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. Hey.
Jason,
Are you undersized? You're perfect.
Yeah, I'm undersized. I played lacrosse, and I'm white.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
You
all
make
the
it
boxes.
easy.
Where's my tryout?
Yeah. You got a Mark
So-
Wahlberg invincible on his ass.
I think Tom can still throw. He looks like he can throw. The arm doesn't seem to be an issue. I think it's just more like developing the chemistry with everybody.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be the fourth game they played,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still 2-1 and look pretty good.
Yeah.
Like there's the seal. I think the ceiling for this team is higher than the Cardinals.
I
That's what
vehemently
it comes down.
disagree.
That's the ceiling for the team this year.
I would
This
disagree.
year, yes,
I-
maybe.
This year.
Maybe.
The floor.
That's all we're asking.
The floor for the Bucks is higher than the floor for the Cardinals. The ceiling for the Cardinals is higher than the ceiling for the Bucks.
I disagree with that. No.
Okay.
If the Bucks really get going and you can sling it to Gronk, Godwin, Evans, OJ Howard if need be,
What's
Cameron Brate if need
What's
be.
Gronk's stats this year? How's he doing?
Last game he actually was really really good. Like last
What's
game he
that?
did pretty good. Let me check him. Let me bring that up for you, DT. Do you have something you'd like to rebut with?
No, like I think I'm not shocked by your take. I assumed you would say that they would be better. I agree with Jay that like we're more of a up and down team. I think you guys, your minimum level of consistent, positivity is higher than what we can do. But I think with that offense, with Cliff Kingsbury, with Kenyon Drake in that backfield, with DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, and now apparently Andy Isabella popping off as well. I think there's a lot. I think like you said, we're scary. We have a higher ceiling if it all clicks.
Yeah.
I think if it all clicks, if we get hot at the right time and Cliff starts using that offense in a way that people can't defend for, then I think we can really make a run at it. I think it's so easy to get into the groove of, well, it's Tom Brady, so they're a playoff team. And I think
it's the weapons. It's the weapons. The way I look at it is, okay, Jameis went, 30 for 30 with this team. All Brady has to do is go 30 and 15. And they're a markedly better team. Like they're ridiculously
I lost him.
better.
Oh, there it is.
So
Like they go from they become like an 11 and 5, 12 and 14.
Yeah. So like the debate here is who has the better season, right?
It's
Yeah.
who do we think will do the best this season and why? So I'd love to hear your take as like the decider, Jay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Gronk went 6 receptions for 48 yards last game.
Wow, that's sick.
That's that's better than what he was doing the first week.
I know. I'm just fucking with you. And DT, you're not gonna like to hear this. I think Tampa Bay has a better season, and for this reason alone, the division they're playing in.
Hmm.
The Saints don't look right. Carolina sucks. They're not good.
Right.
And Atlanta is their choke artist. Whereas the division you're playing in, you have an overachieving San Francisco team. You have the Seahawks. You have you. Who's the other team in that division?
Rams.
The Rams. So, I mean, I just think, like, statistically, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should have a better season, just based on division.
Yeah, but if we win those games that we're supposed to lose,
then we're having an entirely different conversation. I think the Cardinals are the better team, in my opinion, but I think that Tampa Bay is playing in a shittier division. Your division is the best division in football, period.
Yes.
I hate it because it was the worst for so long.
Yeah.
That is the only reason why I say that, is because you're playing in the best division in football.
I think the most compelling thing to either of our arguments is how we do in those division games. We play all those teams twice, which nobody else has the privilege of having to do.
Yep.
So I think that burden, the thing is like, I could see them, even if it's like a 9-7 type of year, because of that expanded playoffs. If we get in there and we don't have to face those guys, we could make a run.
I could see that. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But
as far as regular season record, I see the Bucs doing better.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as well, which is why I'm not arguing super hard. I think both of our teams are good. They have a lot of merit. I wish the Jets were a part of this conversation, Jay. I really do.
They are not. Maybe next year we have Trevor Lawrence.
Nowhere close.
But I think
Next
that's
year
more
we
than
have
fair.
Trevor Lawrence. It's over for you bitches.
I appreciate that. Anybody who's watching this, especially on YouTube or any other platform that can comment, drop your takes in the comments on which team you think is going to be better, who your favorite team is, any sort of feedback and thoughts on this. This is kind of our first time doing this, so any sort of feedback is appreciated.
We don't suck. We're new.
Yeah, we don't suck. We're new. But do you guys have anything else to say before I kind of close things out?
I mean, I'm 3-0 in the Boston division after everyone shit on my draft. So
On your fantasy football?
throw that
I'm
out
having a
there.
rough fantasy football year. I'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
all over the place in all my leagues, but
Just throwing that out there for the people.
yeah, no, I get it. At least your fantasy team's good because your real team's not.
They are not. They are the opposite. Good.
But yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to add, I think I'm going to sign off. Thanks everybody who gives this a listen. We'll likely, the goal is to do this week in, week out. Get these out probably early Sunday morning so people can have something to listen to before the games. That's subject to change as well. A lot of this is still new to us. We just kind of wanted to get something out there for y'all. So like I said, any feedback, takes, your own opinions, leave them in any spot that this shows up where you can leave comments, and maybe we make a little fan section later of people's, questions or thoughts or takes, and we argue those as well. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Looking forward to doing it again. I hope all of our teams win this week, which I can't say next week. When that'll be a big week, as just a teaser for next week to everybody. The Jets play the Cardinals, and
We'll be live from the lake.
things are gonna get gross. So you have that to look forward to for next week. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank anybody who's out there for watching this or listening to this on whatever your preferred platform is, and we hope to see you guys all again soon. Say bye to the people, guys.
Bye-bye.